Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. I just wanted to show you a collection I have amassed of small wooden boxes. Every time I go to a flea market or an antique store, if I see a small wooden box that's relatively inexpensive and in relatively good shape, I grab it and take it home, and as you can see, I have amassed quite the collection. Now the creative side of my brain says, oh man, you could do so many amazing things with all this. And the rest of my brain says, WTF were you thinking, girl? So instead of just staring at this mountain of boxes I have, I've decided to finally try experimenting, because otherwise these will just sit here in the corner of my sunroom for forever. So let me take you into the craft room and I'll give you an overview of what we're going to do. Okay, here we are in the craft room, and out of that mountain of boxes I selected these two, which are not exactly identical, but they are very similar. Obviously they come from the same company. Some old cigar boxes. They have these slide-off lids, as you can see, and no latch per se, it's just a very simple slide. So what I'm going to do, this allows me to take the tops off completely, although it's kind of hard one-handed, but okay, hang on. There we go. Okay, so I can take the lids off, which means the rest of the box doesn't have to be taped or anything while I do an experiment here. I do want to be very, very careful, however. I don't know if you can see this clearly, but these edges, if I get paint or resin or anything in those edges, they will not fit back in the little grooves to allow the lid to slide back on. So I'm going to probably not only tape along there, but also put on a pretty thick layer of liquid latex. That should, I hope, protect the edges. And then I'm going to sand the tops and paint them over in probably white as my background, so it'll be a simple layer of white acrylic paint to seal everything up. And then we are going to do an experiment where we do acrylic dip with one and we do a resin dip with another, and we see what the results are, and if there's one we like better than the other, or if they turn out approximately the same, or if they both bomb completely. So it's going to take me a while to get all that stuff ready. Hang on, we'll be right back. Hey everybody, we are going to start working on our box dips. I'm going to sand down my two box tops. That's the next step. So I have the box tops here, and I have my pack of sorted grit sanding paper that I purchased at Walmart a while ago. I basically just cut pieces off the different sheets for what I want. So I have 80 grit here and 220 here. I will start with the 80 grit and sand these down, and then finish with the 220. I'm not going to do a whole lot of sanding. The idea isn't to take levels of wood off. It's just to basically undo whatever finish is on them, especially this one's obviously painted, and prep the surface so that when I paint, it won't be painting over paint. Paint on the wood. For our sealer, I may even paint on a layer of polyurethane. We'll see. I may just go straight to a layer of white paint. And then it will be, then I'll have to figure out how to mask off the pieces on the side that stick out a little more than the rest of the top, so that they fit in the grooves on the box and slide into place. I was going to start with masking tape. I may do masking tape and also a layer of liquid latex. There we go. I'm not as worried about the paint getting on it as I am the resin. I think if the resin gets on it and I can't get it off, it will really screw up the effect of being able to slide the box top back into place in its box. So that's what we're doing next. Here is one of the tops sanded down, tape applied, and a very thick coating of liquid latex also applied to the slide part of the box. I must say I do not like this monster liquid latex, not because it doesn't work, I think it will, but because it is insidious, it gets everywhere, just a real PITA to deal with. Clearly I do not have a future in the zombie apocalypse special effects field. All right, we are back. I have my box tops sanded and prepped with tape and liquid latex on the grooves on the side so that no paint or resin can get stuck in there and affect how it slides in and out of the box grooves. I had a little trouble with the tape. On this one, I was trying to do it basically by hand, by eye, with my fingernail and an X-Acto knife, and I just, I made a mess of things, honestly. So this is going to be the one I dip in paint because that won't be as critical. Then this will be the one I dip in resin. And what I did here was when I put the tape down at the very edge, I then used a straight edge, my Lily Vethé scraper, and I pushed the tape down along the edge flap with this, which made a much cleaner crease along the edge, so I didn't have tape sticking up or overlapping or missing the wood completely or covering it up or whatever I had with this messy one over there. Just a tip for the future, and then I put 2 layers of, basically flooded the grooves with the liquid latex because I really don't want anything to stick there. And when this is dry, I will do the primer paint layer, and then we will start dipping. See you in a bit. Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. We are going to try the first of our 2 box top dips today. This will be the acrylic paint box top dip. I'm saving the resin version for later, after this is out of the way. I'm going to use the exact same colors for both. I'm going to use the exact same paints for both. Here we have all Liquitex Basics acrylics, all fluorescents. This is green, blue, yellow, fluorescent orange, pink, and red. I've mixed them all up, 1 part paint to 1 part Liquitex pouring medium because I'm out of Floetrol at the moment. And we are going to lay them down here, and then we are going to dip our box top, which has been taped off and liquid latex poured on the edges. So hopefully that will all come off. And then we are going to dip, voila. And I'm going to use those little flaps to pull up. And we'll let it sit and dry, and we'll see how it compares to a resined top in these exact same colors. So I'm going to, I think I said this already, I'm going to chevron today, and we're just going to keep cycling through our colors, and we'll hope for the best. We all know my exact skills are somewhat limited here. Hopefully I have enough paint to do this. I feel like I should. It's more than 6 ounces, which is more than enough for that surface, but at the same time it doesn't look like very much sitting in the cups. Okay. Now what else? Do I need to fill in anything? Alright, I think we're ready to dip. Here we go, guys. This is exciting. I hope it works. She says oh so optimistically. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm managing to get paint on everything. Alright, I'm going to try and lift it this way. Ooh! Alright. There we go. I'm going to leave that. Let's see, is there anything else I can do here? Okay, we'll dip 2 tiles. Hopefully. There's a lot of paint on there. This shouldn't be a problem, but it's the picking them up afterwards that I have trouble with. Oh, don't do that. Ooh. Alrighty, let's see if I can set that down there. I even like the swirl pattern on it. Yeah, alright, do the other one down here. Nice. Woohoo! Oh, look at how psychedelic everything is. I love this. Alright. Take the torch to everything, and then the next time you see me, I think it will be to do the resin top for the box comparison. Alright. Hey everybody, let's do a quickie close-up on our after dipping with the acrylics. This is a tile, obviously. I don't know, I'm really drawn to fluorescence. Probably because I'm drawn to color in general. But that turned out very pretty. These are still wet. I will probably, if I like them enough to keep them, I will resin them once they've dried. This was the first tile I dipped. Here is our box top. Again, I think it turned out pretty nicely. We'll see what it looks like when it's dried. This was the oops, missing paint patch. Although, even though I can see it like it's a blaring red flag, it doesn't actually look all that bad. We had another oops over here, right there. I tried to pop a bubble and it actually kind of messed up the paint. But I don't think that's going to look too bad when it dries either. So there you have it, folks. We will come back and take a look when these have dried. Thanks, everyone. Hey folks, we're back. It is the next day and our resin top has cured and our acrylic paint top has cured or dried. So let's take a look. Here's our first look at everything. This is so exciting. All right, so we'll start with the acrylic dip because that's what I started with in this video. I have already taken the edges off. This was the after effect of my taping and also, oh, actually it goes like this. My taping using painter's tape and also a thick blob of liquid latex all the way down on top of the, this is really hard to do one-handed. And this one was over here on this side like that. They both came off pretty cleanly, and then I did a little cleaning up with an X-Acto knife along the edges. You can see it still fits in here. It's just a little hard to move back and forth. It doesn't slide as smoothly. It does open, it does close, and it does open with a little bit of effort. So I think what I'm going to do on both these tops is wait for things to dry and cure a little more, and then basically run some sandpaper down both sides very carefully, very fine grit, just to give it a little more space, and then it will move a lot more freely in and out of the box. But overall, it works and I'm thrilled. Here are the 2 extra coasters I dipped after we were done dipping the box top. I think they turned out really nicely too. Now it would look really, really sweet if I resin this later once it's fully dried and fully cured. That would be asking for trouble, I think. Even if I retaped it and did more liquid latex, I think I would just be putting a lot of extra stress on these edges in terms of being able to move the top in and out of the box opening. So I will probably spray on clear coat instead, maybe a couple layers. So it'll have a shinier varnish look to it. It will not be as like glass as the resin, which I think looks so pretty here. See how pretty that looks? I do have a doohickey. I spent a lot of time after I turned the camera off yesterday pulling little, almost microscopic things out of the resin before I covered it up for the night. But it worked, and the tape and liquid latex worked on this as well. In fact, it was easier to peel off here. I did, again, tidy things up a little on the very edges with the X-Acto knife, and then, like the other one, I'm going to use a fine grit sandpaper to smooth things down and make them a little tiny bit less wide so they'll move in and out of the box more smoothly. But overall, very happy with how this turned out. Here are our 2 resined coasters that I did with the leftover resin. I think they really turned out beautifully. And basically the difference between these 2, you saw they were done with the exact same colorants, the Liquitex Basics acrylic paint. And the difference really comes down to the way the media that they were blended into behaves. The acrylics were blended into a pouring medium, which allows them to flow, but still keeps pretty good definition. Whereas over here, the acrylic paints were mixed into resin, which blends. It just does. Even when you want specific definition, things move around after the fact, and all the times I hit it with the heat gun to get rid of bubbles, that makes it move around more as well. So you can still see the chevrons in both, but I would say that the main differences between the 2 are just based on medium used. Otherwise, I like them both a lot. I did want to save this one for the end. I am going to have to put my phone down. Okay, here we go. This was the leftover clear resin, the pink, the orange, the yellow, and the green. I used the red and blue in another coaster mold just like this, but there wasn't very much of either one of those, so it didn't fill it up. I'm going to save that still in the mold for the next time I have leftover resin, and I will pour into that and complete that coaster. But here we go with this one. And there you have it, folks. A psychedelic resin coaster to go with our psychedelic resin coasters. Yay! It does make a difference. This is on a white tile, and this is on or in clear resin. So that's why the colors in this one are more striking, and they're a little more pastel-y in this one. Back to our box tops. Let me know what you think, everybody. We don't need the huggies in there. What do you think? I'll hold the camera this way. Which of the box tops do you like better? There we go. Which of the box tops do you like better? Which of the coasters do you like better? We have the resin and we have the acrylic pouring paints. Let me know down in the comments section what you think. Thank you everyone for sticking with me through this project. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you in the next video.